Hallo. Part 9 von The Longest Journey. Heute mal wieder ohne Nerd. Ich hoffe, nehmt mir das nicht übel. Er ist aber auch gerade nicht online. Und dann schauen wir mal, was hier so kommt. Wir haben ja letztes Mal nur diese Gegend hier betreten und sind noch nicht weiter getipselt. Was ich jetzt vornehmen werde, warum auch immer das immer noch ruckelt. Nicht so ruckelt, sondern so komisch. Jetzt habe ich gar nicht geguckt beim letzten Mal, ob das... Oh, ein
The
Fenster.
shutters are closed, but it's daylight outside.
Mhm. Ob man das im Video sieht, meine ich, das wird fehlende Vertical Sync. Ich hoffe nicht. Das ärgert mich jetzt schon wieder. Ich gucken, ich habe jetzt in der Linie... Oh! Oh! Hallo?
Quaint, and they go with the general decor of the place.
To the back? Halt.
Oil lamps, or whatever their magical equivalent may be called.
Swinging Lantern? Swinging Lantern. Wo war denn hier to the back? To the back. Also das ist das Back. Hier geht's aber auch nicht weiter. Und hier geht's Exit. Wer bist du? Ein Priester. Und noch eine Laterne.
Oil lamps, or whatever their magical equivalent may be called.
Achso, Magic Curtain.
Enormous satin drapes. The
Heavy
doors are
doors.
closed.
Ja, da wird irgendwie nichts anderes übrig bleiben, außer unseren Priester hier anzuquatschen. Hallo, der Herr. Erstmal
He
angucken.
looks like some kind of priest.
Haben wir das festgestellt? Was haben wir da eigentlich im Inventar? Und mir fällt gerade noch was ein. Man kann, habe ich letztens gelesen, mit X alle Ausgänge anzeigen lassen. Swinging Lantern. Okay, das heißt, es gibt zwei Ausgänge oder was? Soll das bedeuten? Und mit A und S kann ich durch die Gegenstände switchen, die ich habe. Ohne jedes Mal ins Inventar klicken zu müssen. Auch wenn man da keine Ahnung hat, auch wenn ich keine Ahnung habe, wie ich dann sowas kombinieren kann. Naja. Priester, hallo.
Hello?
Hallo.
Hi.
Wen haben wir gesucht? Damien Westlake? Nee.
Et tu? Emile, tu vas?
Ich spreche deine Sprache nicht. Shake hand. In Rot? Ach so, weil das eine Dingsbums ist, oder was?
I don't understand.
Aku sta kayan paras. Inomalante kandra. Ton maris. Ore tiesiton.
Ist schön, dass es dazu Untertitel gibt. Nord.
Who are you?
Ken esang maris ortona. Magigean poseiton. Sare alvoca im iriam tue ithium.
Das ist keine echte Sprache, oder? Gibt's hier noch was? Nord? Listen? Listen?
Aku kandi. Good.
All tongue. Good?
Niranton alvoch.
Magic?
Sank al coda magic. Torante. Salhe. Naven. All tongue.
I give up, but thanks.
What does Altum mean?
Maris. Tu verenelian aran tu torank lock eton.
Ich verstehe dich nicht. Ich werde weiter
Aku
lesen.
kandi. Good.
Das kennen wir schon. Das überspringe ich kurz. Du doch mal.
Al orta e beginning. Parasim tin you. You have thiesa e magic e Sarah. E the knowledge. Aritia ya e tue by generations e umani. Knowledge of all tongue.
Bilde ich mir das ein oder versteht die Sprache besser, je länger ich zuhöre?
Now you have allowed the magic to enter
Yeah.
your heart, and the knowledge of all tongue, ever present but dormant, to guide your ears and your tongue.
I understand you. You speak English? Why didn't you just tell me straight away?
Nicht gerafft, Mädel.
No, child. I do not speak English. I speak Naven, all tongue, the common language of Arcadia.
Arcadia? Wait a second. How did I get here? What is this place and who the hell are you?
Oh, my manners have abandoned me yet again. I'm afraid my preoccupation with ancient texts and the company of my fellow fathers have left me unequipped with the grace of social intercourse.
Meaning what?
That I have been rude. My name, dear child, is Tobias Grensret, and I am the Vestrum of the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance. We are the Fathers.
Okay. I'm April. April Ryan.
I take it this is your first shift, your first passage through the Divide?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I guess this is my first shift.
Then I will explain everything. Someone must. You are without guidance, without a mentor?
Mentor? There's this guy Cortez. He assisted me, told me about magic and truth and dreams and portals. Crazy stuff. Well, it seemed crazy at the time, although now I don't...
Cortez? Ah, yes, Cortez. Very good, very good. Then come, let us proceed. Let me show you Marcuria, the grandest city of all ages.
Wird sicherlich ein Scheiß gegen Venedig sein. Okay, also die Typen, zumindest er und einige andere wissen offenbar, dass das dass das scheinbar einfach so geht, so zwischen den Welten scheinbar hin und her zu rumpeln. Oh, mit Video. Ich kann da irgendwo aufschreiben. Ach, das ist das mit dem Tempel, aus dem Tempel raus. Das ist gleich das allererste. Cool. Wow, cool.
Explore Marcuria, April. See the sights, meet the people, and then, when you are ready, return to the temple. I will answer whatever questions you may have then.
Ich wollte gerade fragen, wo sind wir denn? Aber da unten bewegt sich was. Oh, that's pretty overwhelming. Ah, ja, mal gucken, was der April dazu zu sagen hat. In Arcadia, is it still Saturday? Do they even have Saturdays here? And why I am not screaming and frothing and tearing my hair out when I obviously should be? When confronted with the impossible, isn't your mind supposed to just snap? Perhaps because I've had so many vivid dreams about... Okay, now I don't even know if dreams is the right word anymore. Visions, perhaps, or even better, premonitions. That's in keeping with the theme of this place, magic. Oh yeah, magic. Apparently I'm simply supposed to accept without question that magic does exist, which is impossible, but clearly not impossible enough, because here, there is magic, whatever here is. I've written more on the next page. Still, in the face of all the strangeness, I feel normal. For some weird, inexplicable reason, and even though I've still wrapped my head around the concept, I accept this place. It feels comfortingly familiar in a distant, hazy way. And even though I want to go home, like right now, I'm not panicky. Not at all. Just a little bit. Oh, and when I should write that name down before I forget it. And I should write that name down before I forget it. Brian Westhouse. Okay. That's the last thing Cortez told me, to visit Brian Westhouse whenever I wanted to go home. Okay. Okay. Stalls. Ja, wir können wieder April angucken. Hier ist der Tab. Wir gucken mal. X. Okay, also es zeigt doch, wo es rausgeht. Grob. Stalls. Ach, hier kann ich zu den Stalls... Ach, das... Oh, okay. Okay. Halt,
The whole
Fountain.
fountain's been carved in one piece from a granite-like material. Very impressive.
Definitely. Gibt's denn noch? Fountain? Alles angucken. City. Ja, City und Stelle und die Fountain. Beast and
What the
Rider.
hell kind of animal is that?
It's a beast, obviously. Okay, dann gehen wir jetzt... Oh, in die Stalls. Cups Händler. Cups Game. Das geht sowieso... Oh, ein Vogel. Bird.
What a sorry-looking bird.
Hey, you don't look too polished yourself, lady.
Oops, I didn't know you could talk.
Didn't look as if you could talk either.
Das hat eine Woche? What the fuck? Marketplace. Dance.
In a world without the screen, that's what passes for entertainment. And it's pretty darn good.
Gut, ist jetzt Ansichtssache. Merchant. Cups Game, Cups Händler. Ach so. Ich dachte, das hier ist der Cups Händler, aber das soll der Typ sein.
It's a game of some kind.
Ja, schön.
That's a particularly sleazy-looking merchant. I wonder what he's selling.
Cups. Auf dem Kopf. Remember the 5th of November.
I wonder if that's supposed to be anybody in particular, or just any old head.
Schon Schrumpfkopfverschnitt. Erzähl mal.
Want to test your skill and perception with a game of cups? There are prizes to be won.
Okay. Sorry, but I'm broke. Thanks, but not.
Mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Time is money, so make it quick.
What do you know about Vestrum? Ja.
What do you know about Vestrum Tobias?
Vestron Tobias, eh? The high priest of the Sentinel himself. Did you know they call themselves the Fathers? What a joke. When was the last time they did anything for us, the people? No. They are only interested in sticking with their outdated customs and keeping their secrets under lock. I'm getting more and more inclined to listen to these new people, the Vanguard. Their ideas appeal to me. They may be radical, but we're past due for a change. Only thing I don't wholly approve of is their alliance with the Tyrant. Filthy, dangerous people. But the Vanguard seem to have them under control, so I'm not too worried. I wish they wouldn't allow them into the city, though.
Okay. How do you get along with your neighbor? Den kennen wir noch nicht. Anything about Stark ist, glaube ich, meine
Do you know
Welt,
anything about Stark?
wo ich herkomme.
Not much. I'm not too sure if I even believe in the place. I mean, you hear the stories and you read the books. Well, I don't, but some do. A place where there's no magic, only science? Sounds like a bloody paradise, doesn't it? I mean, with my, skills, I could make a killing in a place like that.
Okay.
What's Arcadia like?
What a queer question that is. What's the world like? It's big, for one, and too expensive. And they should ban Dalmari women from gambling because I swear, they have a second sight.
Ja,
How do
dann.
you get along with your
Den
neighbor?
kennen wir zwar noch nicht, aber...
The maps merchant? We've faced each other for 6 years now, every single day, and he never speaks a word to me except to insult me. Nose high in the sky, calls me a charlatan, as if he's the guardian himself. You know, good oversized bag of wind?
Thanks.
Okay.
Now, how about a game of cups?
Was kann ich denn
What can
gewinnen?
I win?
Well, there's coin, of course. Double your bet or choose from a wide variety of exotic prizes.
Okay, also muss ich
Like
nicht
this antique Domari canter from Gien.
Das hier.
A superb replica of Mount Tyranny, cast in pure solid iron.
Ja, natürlich.
A magic walnut from the once glorious island kingdom of Ansiel. And this, unique bird.
Get me out of here!
Keep your beak shut, you scraggly piece of... And he talks! Great for feasts and for the amusement of infants. He's our top prize, a real keeper.
Ja, of course. Aber ohne ohne Geld können wir nicht wirklich...
Okay, let's go.
Just place your bet, investment, on the table and the game will begin.
Ach so. Ich würde trotzdem mal ganz kurz vorher speichern wollen. Nur für den Fall, auch wenn ich nicht glaube, dass ich hier großartig was verbrammeln kann. Ich würde gerne meinen Ring... Schade. Bleib mal hier, bitte. Ja, den Ring kann ich einsetzen. Meine Checkkarte nicht. Das Blatt auch nicht. Gut, nehmen wir den Ring. Deswegen braucht man den auch wieder unten.
Is that gold? Only valid Arcanian coin in iron and other precious metals allowed at my table, young lady. Take your worthless gold elsewhere.
Gold? Worthless? Now I have heard everything.
Okay. Ja, habe ich noch irgendwas anderes? Hier, Metall. Okay. Jetzt würde mich spontan interessieren, ob ich mit dem Goldring, wenn ich den nicht mitgenommen hätte, ob das überhaupt geklappt hätte an dem komischen Dings.
Intuition tells me
Maps!
that he sells maps.
Okay.
Maps, I got maps. Can I interest you in a map, miss? Top-notch, hand-drawn in quality ink by skilled sunwriters. Ain't no better in all the Northlands.
How much are your maps?
That depends, miss. I got a very nice one here of the Border Mountains for only 6 Arons, fresh from the quill of a sunwriter. Maps, get your maps here.
Ich glaube,
No maps
brauch
for
keine
me
Map.
today, thanks.
Fair enough, miss, but don't expect me to come running to your aid if you ever get lost in Riverwood. Without my maps, you'll probably end up a mole's dinner or worse. Maps!
Maps. Wir haben sowieso kein Geld, um uns Maps kaufen zu können, deswegen werde ich einfach mal verzichten. Und wir gehen mal in die City. Ah, okay. City Gates. Ach, wir können direkt uns raus verpissen. Interessant. Guard.
Those guys must be part of the City Watch. They look a hell of a lot more intimidating than the Newport cops, despite the lack of an exoskeleton.
Ja, dafür hat er so eine schöne Stab. Helle Bade wollte ich gerade sagen, aber ist es nicht wirklich.
Stout
Statue.
Guardians of the City. Wooden, but stout.
Ups.
And that blue fire is way cool.
Indeed. Star.
This
Hello.
guy's selling musical instruments. Most of these I don't even recognize. But he's got a drum in there and what looks like half a guitar and a couple of dried rabbit carcasses. Ugh.
Kann man offensichtlich mit Musik machen. Instrument Merchant? Okay. Achso, den kann ich jetzt direkt anklicken. Was gibt's hier noch? Fish Merchant. Und noch ein Guard. Und das war's dann auch schon, ne? Ich kann auch noch nicht weiter Doch. Walls? Walls.
The walls look ancient. Arcuria must be at least as old as anything back in the real... in my world.
Okay. Okay, das irritiert mich jetzt. Heißt das jetzt, es gibt 2 Ausgänge oder es gibt nur einen und das ist der? Hab ich mich wieder bescheißen lassen vom Spiel. Wieder irgendwelche Sachen angeklickt, die man möglicherweise nutzen kann und jetzt habe ich mich davon
This
ablenken
lady's
lassen.
selling fresh fish. I've never seen fish like this before. But if it's wet and has fins, fish it is.
Ariel, du bist ein Fisch. Gut, dann erzähl mal hier Instrumenten Merchant.
He's selling musical instruments.
Klingelingeling.
I'm not in the market for an instrument at this particular moment. Still, good to know where to get one in case of a musical emergency.
Okay, das bringt mir also auch nichts. Ja, dann war's das schon.
Stout guard.
Jagst. Ist nicht allzu viel zu sehen hier. Das ist nicht ganz präzise. Nachher gibt es 3. Stelle, City und Tempel. Und aber wenn ich in die City gehe... Gut, hier ist sowieso klar, aber hier gibt es ja dann... City Gates. Und irgendwo anders hin. Irgendwie weiter raus quasi. Ne? Bisschen komisch. Naja. Gut, dann versuchen wir es mal im Tempel. Und ja, labern mal den Kaspar, was wir jetzt hier eigentlich machen sollen. Wir suchen ja Damien Westlake. Nein, Brighton Beach. Wie heißt der Kerl? Brian Westhouse. Hello.
Excuse me, Vestrum Tobias?
Tobias. Just call me Tobias, please. I require no ceremony from a distinguished guest such as yourself. Did you enjoy the sights?
Ja, schon.
I don't know. I'm overwhelmed. Walking around out there, seeing with my own two eyes things that can't possibly exist. I kept thinking, it's all a dream. I'll wake up at any moment now and everything will return to normal. But then I realized, I'm still here. It's real. I can touch it. I can smell it. And you know what? It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense here. Magic, alien creatures, parallel worlds. I don't believe in those things. I don't believe in fairy tales.
In your world, in Stark, there is no room for magic. That is, and always has been, the curse of science, the fallibility of logic and order. They leave no room for the imagination. If it does not fit into the narrow perception of the laws of nature that your world adheres to, it's a fairy tale. But then, magic has its downsides too. It's unpredictable. It invites chaos. It puts the balance in peril in a way that science alone never could.
I keep hearing about the balance and about Stark and Arcadia and... This is probably going to sound strange to you, but I'm clueless. I have no idea what this place is or what I'm doing here or... All I know is that something strange is happening in my world, I guess. I had dreams, and the dreams felt so real, and then things started happening in real life too. Things that couldn't happen, and
I think I will begin at the very beginning. I believe that is why you were sent here, to learn, to understand, to see for yourself. Like you said, you cannot believe in this place. Well, you will. After you have learned the truth, you will. Come with me, and I will tell you the story of Earth as your books never have. And when your eyes and ears are open to the truth, perhaps your mind will follow. We can only hope. Come.
Okay, erzähl mal. I'm listening.
This is the true story of the balance, as observed by the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance, the Fathers. The Sentinel Minstrom committed this story to the pages of the scriptures and to these temple walls thousands of years ago, so that coming generations could learn and understand their past and their future. The wall paintings we are looking at became known as the murals of the balance, and it is through these images that I will recount our common history to you, April Ryan. The story begins and ends here, with this mural. Ages ago, and in ages to come, the Earth was one, and magic and science existed side by side in nature and in all people. There was balance, and there was harmony.
You're saying there was just one world then?
One world, one Earth. Magic and science in balance with each other, within each and every living creature. The power to make the stars dance and to create life itself was within our grasp. But then, humankind began to exploit this divine power of two, and they saw fit to use it for their own selfish purposes. The balance of the cosmos was in peril. Unless something was done, unless man was humbled and learned to fear the power he wrought over cosmos, the twilight of chaos would fall upon Earth. It had happened before, in distant times and on distant worlds, and it would happen again. And every man, woman, and child of every people and every race would be devoured by the coming apocalypse. We were given a visitation then. The Dragkin, having lived among us for untold generations, rose to offer their guidance and assistance in preserving the balance on our world.
Okay, ich starte nicht. Mach das selber.
The Drag? I think I've heard that name before.
Echt? Ich nicht.
Drykin. Dragon. Dragons. Whichever name they go by, they remain the eternal servants and custodians of the balance. There were 4 of them here on Earth, and of the 4, one who would found the Order of the Balance, the Sentinel. The first Minstrum were instructed that magic and science would have to be separated before the balance collapsed and brought untold disaster. Earth would have to be split in 2 equal parts. Arcadia and Stark. Magic and science. Chaos and order. The first Sentinel were counted 13. 6 scientists, 6 magicians, and 1 who was between. The Drykin, our mentor, our custodian, our learned guide. Both magic and science were needed to perform this most difficult of tasks. To split a world in 2, to create 2 worlds from 1.
Wasn't the use of that kind of power dangerous to the balance?
Yes, and so for this purpose, they built a tower to channel their powers and focus them on the divide that they would create. The kin had brought a disc with them, a disc forged in the fire of their world. Placed at the base of the tower, and the epicenter of the divide, the disc and the tower would become one, a conduit for the flow of magic and science. At the appointed hour, the 13 came to the tower, and with them a woman, whose destiny was decided by the purpose to which she had been born. She would be the first guardian, the human protector of the balance, who would stay in the tower for 1,000 years to watch over the 2 worlds, and to ensure that the flows of magic and science were always equal. And so the ritual began. One world was to become 2, separated by the balance, and each world visible to the other only by way of dreams. Who was ushered into which world was not an arbitrary choice, nor one taken lightly. For the magical creatures, the choice was simple. They had to go to Arcadia. Their kind would not survive in Stark. But for others, families were torn apart, lovers separated, and friends lost for all eternity. Encircled by the 12 and the 1 who would be guardian, the disc at the base of the tower began to spin faster and faster as more and more power flowed through it, until it was a blur. Darkness enveloped the tower, but the disc glowed brighter and brighter. Reality turned, and in one moment, a new reality had been created, and 2 new worlds born. In the tower there was silence. The original disc had disappeared, and in its place was a smaller counterpart, a similar yet different disc. Around and outside the tower the world looked different. They were now between Stark and Arcadia, between reality and dream. This was the realm of the balance and of the guardian, and it would be her home for the next 1,000 years. The one who was kin picked up the disc and said, "This disc is a counterpart to the original disc, which has now become this realm, and the key to which has been split and divided in 4. The key is the disc, and the disc is this realm." This mystified the 12, and the one who was kin continued, "Know only this. The Guardian's realm cannot be broken unless the disc is broken. But nor can it be repaired without the disc being repaired. The 4 pieces, that is the key, will be given to the 6 of you who are to be taken to Arcadia for safekeeping. Yet the key will never be complete," he went on, "without the precious stones that adorn each piece. I will keep 1, and my fellow kin the 3 others. Should the day come when this realm must be repaired, or the worlds reunited, and that day will come, you will assemble the disc, and the kin will come together one last time. With that, 6 of the 13 went to Arcadia, and 6 to Stark, and the one who would be guardian ascended to the throne. Witness the mural, where her dreams and hopes, her very soul, were locked away in the disk. In service of the balance, these traits were nothing but barriers. Through new eyes, the imbalance between the worlds was as clear as the stars themselves to the Guardian. And with one thought, she channeled chaos from Arcadia and logic from Stark into the disk, and redistributed the power wherever it was needed. A new era had begun, the era of the Guardian. After they left the tower, 2 of the Drakkin went to Stark, the other 2 to Arcadia. The 6 who came to each world started what is now known as the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance. But while in Arcadia the Sentinel thrived, in Stark they did not. In Stark, the memories of magic and the balance could not survive in the face of the new reality of natural laws, of logic, and of science. And soon, very soon, Arcadia became nothing more than legend, a myth, tales of fairies to recount to impressionable children, and stories to frighten and entertain around a fire. And while dreams still brought sights and sounds of Arcadia to those asleep in Stark, they were discounted as mere dreams and nothing more.
So that's it? We forgot about our past and about Arcadia? And that's the way things are? Then what's wrong with that? And why does magic from Arcadia seem to have begun leaking through to Stark?
That is another long story. But I can tell that you are tired of stories, and so I shall be brief. As I told you, while in Arcadia, the Sentinel grew in numbers and in strength. In Stark, while flourishing for a brief time, they were soon diminished and powerless. Some of the Stark Sentinel did not take kindly to this, and they berated the Arcadian Sentinel for their politics and teachings. The Stark Sentinel wanted people to work towards reunification, while their brothers did not. So the inevitable soon came to pass, and the Stark Sentinel parted ways with their Arcadian brothers, and named themselves the Vanguard. And while at first their philosophy was not so different from ours, over the years it changed radically. The Vanguard wanted the divide torn down, the worlds reunited, and the return to what they called the Glorious Ages, when humankind could control the forces of cosmos. But first they needed their own servant in charge of the balance, their own guardian. Now, every 1,000 years, a new guardian took the place of the old one, because no one can be separated from their souls for any longer than 1,000 years. Every 1,000 years, a new guardian was born. The balance provided the seed from which a new fruit grew. But now, it has been 200 years since the previous guardian, the 12th guardian, was to be replaced. Every new child born to the balance has been taken away by the Vanguard, to be studied in an attempt to control them. In every instance so far they have failed. But the 12th guardian could wait no longer. Only a short time ago the disk in the tower shattered, and the guardian left his throne. The balance is now untended, and we have yet to find a new guardian. Unless we do so, the Vanguard may get their chance. And they may be able to place their own puppet on the throne, to rule the balance according to their principles. And this we cannot allow. It will mean the end of Stark and Arcadia, and the dawn of an era of chaos. Now do you see?
Absolut nicht.
I understand the history. I can even accept it. But I don't understand why I'm here and what Cortez
Ja, das
wants
auch.
with me.
The balance is in peril, April. The Guardian has abandoned his tower. He has disappeared, and there is no one to take his place. He must be reinstated to protect the balance until a new Guardian may be found.
And what can I do? I'm nobody. I've just been having a lot of bad dreams.
You are a strong shifter. I have not seen your like in my lifetime.
A shifter?
Someone capable of opening doors between worlds. A shift. A portal between the realms of Stark and Arcadia.
Are you kidding? I didn't do anything. Cortez was the one who opened the shift, and he just waved his hands around in the air. I don't think I'd be capable of opening a portal even if I had a magic wand.
Only a shifter's own power can allow her to travel. No one else can do this for her. Cortez only channeled your power to aid you. He would not be able to step through the shift himself.
Okay.
Even if that's true, I don't have any control over my talent.
Not yet. But in time you will. How else do you intend to travel back to your world?
God, I hadn't even thought about that yet. Can't you help me?
I'm afraid not. Even if I could shift, I would not be able to channel through you like Cortez did.
So, I'm on my own?
If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. But aside from that, yes. Yes, you are.
That's so not cool.
No, it has been unseasonably warm. If you don't mind, I will return to my studies now. Thank you for listening to an old man and his long stories.
No, thank you. It's starting to make a little bit of sense now.
Jo, a little
That
bit.
is good news. Come see me again if you have any more questions.
Wow. Okay, ich darf wieder spielen. Also wir haben auf jeden Fall erstmal mächtig überzogen. Dann möchte ich noch kurz fragen, ich habe nicht ganz verstanden, was da mit dem Dragon, mit dem Drachen meint. Der hat erzählt, dass die Disk, solange sie gebrochen ist, das Guardian Realm nicht gebrochen, wenn die Disk nicht gebrochen ist, kann das Guardian Realm nicht gebrochen werden. Aber die Teile der Disk gehen nach Arcadia. Also 4 Teile gebrochen, gehen mit den 6 Leuten nach Arcadia. Wenn aber die Disk bis gerade eben noch ganz war, also bis vor 200 Jahren oder so, wie können die dann nach Arcadia gegangen sein, die Teile? Das verstehe ich nicht ganz. Und dann hat er jetzt erst die Disk gebrochen, aber wo sind dann die Teile hin? Wenn er ja aus dem... Und wie können die Typen von Stark mit denen aus Arcadia überhaupt kommunizieren? Das habe ich auch nicht ganz verstanden. Also ganz bin ich da noch nicht auf der Höhe, aber wir haben ja noch einen Text. Den werde ich jetzt noch vorlesen. Und denke ich dann, ist gut. Für diesen Part. I've just been told the story of the balance by Vestrum Tobias, and I figured I should try to write this down while I still remember bits and pieces of it. Talk about cryptic history. Tobias lost me somewhere around the 12 and the 1. Like, excuse me? What? Ich glaube, das war relativ am Anfang, oder? Das waren ja über 10 Minuten. But I think I got the gist of it. There are 2 worlds. One is Dark, the world of science, what I call Earth, and then there's Arcadia, the world of magic, what people here call Earth. 2 Earths, then, which gets a little confusing, but not half as confusing as what came after. A long, long time ago, there was just one Earth, and this Earth had both magic and science, but mankind has always had a habit of screwing things up, and this is what they did on the original Earth. They got too powerful, learned how to move stars and be gods, and by combining the powers of magic and science. So an alien race called the Draken, aliens, okay, decided to interfere to prevent mankind from destroying their own world. Ja, stimmt. Er hat gesagt Alien und dass die aber schon über Jahrhunderte unter den Menschen lebten. Also als Drache? Ach du Kacke. One of the so-called kin founded this religious movement called the Sentinel, or the Fathers, who are self-appointed watchers over the balance between magic and science. The Sentinel were instrumental in dividing the Earth into 2 dimensions, Stark and Arcadia, science and magic. They also put a woman in charge of controlling and channeling the balance between the 2 worlds, a guardian of the balance, who lives in a tower in a sort of in-between realm, and who's replaced every 1,000 years by a new guardian. So then life goes on for like thousands of years until the Sentinel starts squabbling internally, and the Sentinel priests and Stark decide to break with their Arcadian friends and found this new cult, or whatever they're called, the Vanguard. War Vanguard das, was mir dieser Cup-Markt-Typ erzählt hat? Waren das die richtigen? Kommt das hin? The Vanguard want the worlds reunited, and they plan to do this by controlling the Guardian himself or herself. This is what they've been doing for a few hundred years now, destroying potential Guardians by performing experiments on them or something. Ich hatte ja zwischenzeitlich gedacht, dass April irgendwie was mit den Guardians zu tun hat, so als Geburt oder so, wüsste noch keiner was davon. Aber dann haut diese Texte nicht mehr hin. My hand is starting to cramp up. I'm amazed I even remember half of this. Anyways, the current Guardian couldn't stay any longer, and he left his tower in the middle of nowhere. And now the balance is in danger. Apparently, Chaos can really do some serious damage to both Stark and Arcadia. Which does remind me of, Dream. I'm not sure that's the right word anymore. With the Black Chaos thingy, the vortex that attacked me. Stimmt, am Anfang. That's probably a sign of what's gonna happen if somebody doesn't do something to save the balance. Heißt das, wir waren am Anfang in dieser Guardian World? Müsste ja, ne? Wenn die Drachen... Ne, warte mal, die Drachen hatten gesagt, die gehen zwei nach Stark und zwei nach Arcadia oder irgendwas. And I'm sensing this coming on, because that's how it always goes in these things. That somebody is me. Because apparently I'm a strong shifter, whatever this means. Somebody has to find the Guardian, get him back to the tower to save the balance, and then do something about the Vanguard, get them to see why they're screwing with things they shouldn't be screwing with. Hey, easy! I do that kind of stuff before breakfast. Ja, okay, das ist jetzt doch extrem viel gewesen für den kurzen Part. Denke ich, wäre jetzt auch Nurk irgendwie überflüssig dazu gewesen. Das war vorher nicht da. Meine ich. Die Bilders. Exit. Okay, und jetzt habe ich mir den Mund fusselig geredet, obwohl ich die ganze Zeit nichts gequatscht habe. Gut, der Part war recht lang. Videomäßig dürfte es trotzdem relativ klein sein. Und ja, bisschen overwhelming, deswegen werde ich jetzt auch erstmal eine Pause einlegen. Ich hoffe, ihr hattet Spaß soweit. Habt ein bisschen was davon verstanden. Ja. Und bleibt dran. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Tschüss.